Hey guys, Larry here, and today I'm going to give you a guide to ledge trapping in Smash Ultimate. This is meant to be a general guide that goes over the basics of doing it, so everything I mention can be applied to most, if not all, the characters in the game. Before I start, I want to explain what ledge trapping is. Ledge trapping is when you have your opponent at the ledge, and when they attempt to get off of it and go back on stage, you hit them back to the ledge, hence why it's called ledge trapping. Your main goal when ledge trapping the opponent is to make sure you stay in an advantageous spot. I know a lot of people might think their main goal should be to keep the opponent at the ledge or take their stock while they're in this position, but I feel like those go hand in hand with what I said. If you put too much focus on trying to take your opponent's stock or keep them at the ledge, I think it's more likely for you to make a mistake when ledge trapping and be worse off because of it. What you need to remember is even if your opponent gets off the ledge, you still hold most of the stage as long as you're positioned right. So one right move from you or one wrong choice by your opponent leads to them being back at the ledge. When ledge trapping the opponent, positioning is everything. In the right position, you give yourself the opportunity to effectively react to everything the opponent might throw at you. If your positioning is off, your window to react to certain situations are much harder than they should be, and that normally makes you easier to hit. So typically where you want to stand when ledge trapping is directly beneath the battlefield platform that's closest to the ledge. Now depending on your character's range, you might want to stand a small step closer. What being in this spot does is allow you to reasonably react to any option your opponent could throw out. The reason for that is realistically to punish every option your opponent does in that position requires a minimal amount of inputs. If your opponent does a regular get up, you're at the perfect spot to do any attack you want. If they roll, you can simply turn around and punish them. If they ledge jump, you can throw out an aerial and hit them before they can do anything. Get up attack, you can shield and punish. If they drop double jump attack, you can whiff punish them by jumping or dashing back. And if they stay on the ledge for too long, you can just hit them. In regards to hitting the opponent when their invulnerability runs out, there are a few things you need to understand. The first thing is knowing the timing at which their invulnerability runs out. Now, I could tell you the frames or give you a number of seconds to use, but in my opinion, it's best to just sit in training mode, put invulnerability on so it's easier to see when it runs out, and practice timing hitting the character as soon as you can. The other thing you need to know is how their percent affects how long they're invulnerable for. In case you don't know, the higher a character's percentage is, the less invulnerability they will have when they grab the ledge. If someone's at a super high percent when they recover, you can almost instantly hit them off of the ledge, which means they will have to pick an option much sooner. The final thing you need to know is that airtime also affects how long a character is invulnerable for. If a character stays in the air for a long time, they will have more invulnerability than normal. This means that if an opponent is at a higher percent, they can counteract having less invulnerability by doing this. If you're still unsure if the opponent is invulnerable or not, see if they're flashing white. If they are invulnerable. Although I mentioned what spot is ideal for ledge trapping, there are some situations where you want to stand further away, preferably at ledge roll distance. This is because some characters have better options to deal with ledge trapping and make shielding in certain spots worse. If you are confident in your reactions, you could still stand at the distance I mentioned, but just know that characters with command grabs or other options have a better chance of hitting you. While standing at roll distance, you can still punish all of your opponent's get up options, but forcing your opponent off of the ledge becomes a bit more difficult since most characters will likely have to move closer in order to do that. You can also try and bait them into picking an option. The easiest way to do that is by slightly moving or jumping. A lot of the time when people are on the ledge, they're just looking for any movement that they feel gives them the best chance of getting off of the ledge. So just inching forward or jumping will signal to them they have a chance to get off and not get punished. If you've inched forward and they still haven't moved, there's a good chance their invulnerability has or is about to run out. So that gives you the opportunity to just hit them. Jumping is a pretty big part of ledge trapping. Depending on your character, you could perform a short hop aerial to cover a multitude of get up options and still be able to punish the option your opponent picks after your attack ends. I'm not going to go over every character who can do this because it will take way too long, but normally to do this you want a character who can throw out a fairly long lasting hitbox while also having a short amount of end lag. Your opponent is still able to get around this if they time a get up option just before your attack comes out, or if you're still in end lag. It's a really good option to use against opponents that like to ledge jump a lot. Make sure you adjust your spacing if you have to in order to intercept them jumping. Of course, this is also dependent on your opponent's character, because some characters have big get up attacks that are hard to jump over, or are just good options to counter short hop aerials. Certain grounded attacks can be used to cover a lot of get up options, similar to doing a jumping aerial. Like with aerials, you want an attack that can cover a lot of options while also having low cooldown. There are some characters who are able to use attacks that can punish hanging on the ledge, so this forces them to pick an option after a certain amount of time. You need to make sure to position yourself to hit them. With certain attacks, if you stand too close or too far away from the ledge, they won't hit. So you need to make sure you have the spacing down of where to stand in order to hit the opponent. You also should take note of how low your attack can hit. This is because there are some characters that are easier to hit hanging on the ledge than others. A very simple way to determine how easy a character is to hit is to look where their head is when they're hanging on the ledge. If their head is above the ledge, you're probably able to hit them with attacks that wouldn't work on most characters. If their head is hanging far below the ledge, then there might be some attacks that just won't hit them that would hit most of the cast. Shielding can be an amazing option for ledge trapping because it can protect you from an opponent throwing out get up attack or jumping from the ledge and attacking. If you're good at parrying, you should be able to get a slightly charged smash attack if they get up attack. Something else to note about get up attack is that it's fairly negative on shield. I'm pretty positive that every character can use up smash out of shield to punish get up attack without needing to parry. Obviously, if you have a punish that's faster and stronger than up smash with your character, then do that instead. If your character has a quick forward or down smash, you probably have enough time to drop shield and then hit them with that instead of up smash. I'm also pretty sure that get up attacks have different frame data, and I'm unable to find it, so some characters might be easier or harder to punish. But against most of the cast, what I said should usually work. Aside from punishing attacks on the ledge, shielding is really good because you should still have enough time to punish other options. Typically, if you think your opponent is not going to attack, you want to try and punish them with aerials or grab. Dropping shield and going for an attack can work too, but I personally think it's harder to do compared to the other ones. If you're facing a character who has a command grab, or if your shield is low, you want to be careful about your shield usage. There is one other crucial component that you must consider when ledge trapping, and once you understand how to do this, it can allow you to get some incredibly devastating punishes, and that is timing. So what I mean by that is understanding the timing at which your opponent will pick an option. There are a lot of moments where people talk about knowing someone is going to pick a particular option and still get hit by it, and that is the reason. Knowing what's going to happen is great, but you also need to know when. Generally, when someone picks a get up option, they normally do it around the same time. So as long as you understand when your opponent usually does this, you can prepare to punish them a lot easier. If you get a handle of when and exactly what option they pick, it makes going for hard punishes a lot less risky. Something I haven't mentioned yet, but I think would be good to include in this part, is that when your opponent drops from the ledge, they immediately lose their invulnerability. This means if you know your opponent is going to drop from the ledge and have the timing of when it'll happen, you can immediately hit them. You might also hit them out of their double jump, which could lead to an easy edge guard. There's not much I can say on how to improve on getting the timing of your opponent's get up options down, because they can always mix up their timings. Regardless, as long as you're aware and pay attention to it, it should be easier to do. In terms of ledge trapping the opponent, that's it. There's a lot more I could mention, especially with specific characters, but I'll hold off on saying it. Maybe I'll do another one of these and go over more specific things. But before I end the video, I'm going to help out the people who are being trapped at the ledge. I want to start off by saying that when you're at the ledge, you are at a disadvantage and you're relying on your opponent to make a mistake when trying to punish your get up option. That being said, there are a few ways to make it significantly harder for them to punish you. The main reason I see a lot of people getting punished at the ledge is that they always pick the same get up option. If you do normal get up 5 times in a row and your opponent has punished it 5 times in a row, then obviously they're waiting for you to do regular get up. The more obvious you are with your get up options, the easier it is to react to. Now if you've done it 5 times in a row and they haven't punished it yet, then by all means keep doing it since it's working. Second thing you want to do is change up your get up timings. If you're always immediately getting off the edge as soon as you get on it, then it makes it pretty easy to react to whatever option you pick. Don't be afraid to abuse the invulnerability you have while you're on the ledge. Even after it ends, don't feel like you have to pick an option unless your opponent is throwing out attacks to hit you while you're hanging there. And that is it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you really liked it, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.